How's it going, everyone? Bass here. So with the Packers' first preseason game just one day away against the San Francisco 49ers, in this video, I wanted to go over the three main things to watch for in this game. The Packers play in San Francisco tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So firstly, I wanted to go over that we know most of the veterans and starters will not be playing in tomorrow's game. After yesterday's practice, Matt LaFleur huddled up a big group of veterans and starters, and I would assume that group is the group that would not be playing. So I'll bring up the list real quick of the players, and obviously no real surprises on this list. Most of these guys are starters, and you wouldn't expect them to be playing anyways. The only interesting one on this list, in my opinion, is Sammy Watkins, showing the Packers' investment in him, and indeed shows that he is a roster lock, because a lot of people the past week or so have been saying, oh, is Sammy Watkins, is there a risk of him getting cut? His contract kind of allows it. The Packers wouldn't lose much money. There's not much guaranteed money in it. He hasn't been that explosive in camp so far, but this here shows the Packers do see him on their 53-man roster and a big target for Aaron Rodgers for this upcoming season, especially if he doesn't play any of the preseason games. Reminds me of the whole Devondre Campbell situation last year. Now, obviously, Devondre kind of easily took that number one job because there wasn't much talent around him, but Devondre Campbell didn't play a single preseason game last year and was instantly, starter, and that was that. So that could be a situation here where it's like, hey, they already see Sammy Watkins as a starter. They saw what he has in camp. He's obviously played in the NFL a decent bit. Why play him in the preseason if he's going to be on the roster anyway? And especially if Aaron Rodgers isn't playing. Now, in the third game, if Aaron Rodgers comes in, plays a few drives or a quarter, obviously expect Sammy Watkins to do the same. With that in mind, now let's move on to the three most important things to watch for in this game. For number one, this has to be Jordan Love. The main focus this entire preseason will be Jordan Love. He'll likely get over 75% of the play time, and as he should, this will be great for Jordan Love's development. And to this point, Jordan Love hasn't had a full preseason in his entire NFL career. It was canceled by COVID in 2020. Last year, he got hurt in the second quarter of the first preseason game against the Texans and didn't play until the third game, where he still wasn't 100%. And up to the point of the injury last year against the Texans, Love was playing great. He was 12 of 17, 122 yards, one touchdown, 110.4 quarterback rating. Then coming back against the Bills in week 3, he still kind of wasn't 100% to that point. Didn't have a great game to be expected. Bills, great defense. They had a lot of depth on that defense, and Jordan Love wasn't 100%. Went 12 of 18, 149 yards, one interception, and a 69.0 quarterback rating. Fast forward to this offseason, and Jordan Love has been extremely impressive. A lot of people are seeing great change in Jordan Love, the way he's, carrying himself on the practice field, the way he's making throws, slinging the ball around. He's had multiple great practices and has looked way more comfortable out there. One practice Matt LaFleur stated was his best practice in the 3 years he's been here. So clearly Jordan Love is developing, and a full preseason with a ton of snaps will help him exponentially. Personally, I think he should play 3/4 of every preseason game, if not more. I think anything less than that is kind of a waste of his time. Overall, I'm super excited to see Jordan Love in these preseason games, slinging the ball around to these new/young wide receivers. And speaking of wide receivers, that is number 2 on this list. How will the new wide receivers perform in game? The main story of this offseason was how will the Packers respond at wide receiver after trading Davante Adams and losing MVS in free agency. There was a lot of concern on how this wide receiver room will look without Davante Adams and MVS. One veteran signing and 3 draft picks later, the Packers now have a lot of new and young talent in that room. The average age of wide receiver in that room is 25.3, and the only wide receiver above 30 years old is Randall Cobb. But drafting 3 wide receivers in this past draft was a big investment into the position. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, and Samori Toure, all talented in their own ways, and then as well signing veteran Sammy Watkins. But the main focal point this preseason for the wide receivers will be on the 3 rookies, specifically Romeo Doubs, who's been a training camp star so far, making splash plays almost every day of camp. Now, Christian Watson obviously won't be playing in this game. He's still on the PUP, but there's a bunch of other young guys to still be excited for this game. The second year of Amari Rodgers, the 3rd-round draft choice from last year out of Clemson, is very intriguing. Lost 16 pounds this offseason and has looked much faster and more dynamic. He's also had a good camp so far. Matt LaFleur, Brian Gutekunst, and wide receiver coach Jason Vrabel all spoke highly of him, what he can contribute on the offense and special teams moving forward. Samori Toure, a 7th-round draft choice out of Nebraska, but has a ton of talent. I was honestly shocked to see him go in the 7th round. I did a film breakdown on him, and I was super impressed. He's a very, very good route runner and has great ability at getting open. Juwan Winfrey, last year's training camp star and continuously makes plays in camp. Wasn't able to play last preseason due to injury, so his main thing this year is stay on the field, stay healthy, get into these games games in preseason and produce. Aaron Rodgers spoke highly of him the other day, so that could definitely help his case. Danny Davis, the undrafted free agent out of Wisconsin, has been pretty impressive in camp so far. Now, he definitely won't be making the 53 in my eyes, but that's not because he isn't a talented wide receiver. He has shown a lot in camp so far. The room is just already so super crowded, but he still has to earn his spot on the practice squad, and that's where I see him ending up. And then finally, Ishmael Hyman, who's made the most out of his opportunities so far in camp. He's also been taking snaps at punt return, and he had a very good family night as well. But overall, I know we are most excited to see Romeo Doubs in a live game against a live defense and 100% cornerbacks. I am so excited for that. He's been super impressive in the 1v1s, team drills, family night, but I want to see it in an actual game with Jordan Love slinging the football. I am so excited for that. How talented these young wide receivers end up being could very well dictate how the offense plays this season. Now, of course, they still have the 3 veteran wide receivers in Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb, and Sammy Watkins, who will get plenty of snaps, but the young guys will also see plenty of snaps this year. So obviously, this preseason is super important for them. At number 3, we have the depth at edge and safety positions on the defense. To me, these are the 2 positions on the entire team where the depth is the most concerning. For edge, after Rashawn Gary and Preston Smith, there is a big question mark. And Preston Smith and Rashawn Gary play 65% of snaps, so you need rotational edge guys. Last year, the Packers brought in veteran Whitney Merciless, who provided a lot, but this year, there are a lot of unproven guys at that spot. The oldest backup edge player this year is Randy Ramsey at 26 years old, and he's back on the injury report with an ankle injury, the same ankle he hurt last year. The other players fighting for 2 or 3 backup spots are Tipa Naliai, John Garvin, Ladarius Hamilton, rookie Kingsley Enagbare, Chauncey Manick, and Kobe Jones. The total NFL snaps on defense for all those players combined in 2021 is 612 snaps, and over half of them, 395 snaps, go to John Garvin. Overall, the edge depth has little NFL experience now. Tipa Naliai, John Garvin, Ladarius Hamilton all have had good camps so far, but the fight for the spot for backup edge will be won in the preseason. And the same goes for backup safety. Outside of Darnell Savage and Adrian Amos, there is a lot of inexperience. Now, the safeties play upward to 100% of snaps on defense, so it's certainly different than the edge guys who usually play around 65%. But having a solid safety depth and a solid third safety is super important. The Packers' safety depth is as follows. Vernon Scott, 8 snaps in 2021. Sean Davis, 0 snaps in 2021. Ennis Gaines, 0 snaps. Donald Levitt, 249 snaps for Las Vegas. Tariq Carpenter, a linebacker hybrid and a rookie. And the newest signing, Micah Abernathy, 0 snaps. So outside of Levitt, who the Packers signed weeks ago and was on the Raiders last season, not even on the Packers have 8 total defensive NFL snaps in 2021 amongst 5 guys. That's scary. This group has even less experience than the edge group, so seeing how these safeties play live in-game in these preseason games will be very telling. I think Donald Levitt will make the team just based off of special teams, but in Las Vegas, he was seen as a liability when he had to come on to defense. Vernon Scott and Sean Davis have been switching off with the ones this week since Darnell Savage is out with that hamstring injury, and both have had a good week of camp. Rookie Tariq Carpenter is an interesting one because I see him as a linebacker safety hybrid, mainly a box guy. He is 230 pounds, but he likely will only play special teams this year anyways. This position overall, I think a free agent signing, a solid veteran third safety would help a lot. But obviously that will become abundantly clear if the Packers need to do that or not after these preseason games. Overall, there are a lot of things to watch for in this game. Some things I didn't mention today, but to me, these are the 3 most important things you should be watching for in this game. But I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Is there something I didn't mention? Just leave that in the comments. Is there something else you're watching for that you think is more important than these 3 things? But that about does it for this video. If you are new here and want more Packers news, analysis, and updates, please consider going down, clicking the subscribe button, as well as turning on post notifications to not miss any of the videos. And I will be streaming a live watch party during this game, so if you want to come hang out, just come join my stream Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. But that about does it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please leave a like down below. It supports my channel a ton. But I'll catch you all in the next one. As always, go Pack Go.